Going on, everybody? What is going on? The Catch fam. Hope you guys are doing phenomenal tonight. Hope everyone is having a great weekend. Hope you guys are ready for a live 2025 fantasy football draft. Gonna hop into a puppy or two on Underdog Fantasy tonight. Super excited to be here with you guys, hang out, and hop into a couple fantasy football drafts. So you guys know what it is. You know exactly what we're going to do. We're going to throw together some Studley teams for the 2025 fantasy football season. Have some fun. I'll go ahead and wait around a minute or so that you guys can get in here. But like I said, I'm just going to hop into the puppy. I want to try and do the 30-second per pick option, but I've heard that the 20-second lobbies fill quicker. I don't know. So going to try for a 30-second lobby, and we'll go from there. So for anyone who is hopping in tonight, 30 seconds, that's the move. All right. So nothing to really go over like in terms of fantasy news. We are like in that time of year where there's nothing going on but speculation and all that good stuff. So don't have anything to really bring up. I don't think we've streamed since the George Pickens trade. That's like been the only thing that's happened. We'll just kind of wait around a minute or two. J-Dub says to do a 20-second lobby. I don't know. You guys can pick. I kind of want to do 30 seconds because I'm like warming up for the year, I feel like. And that's the other reason why I'm not hopping into Best Ball Mania draft, is because I still want to kind of like warm up, and I don't know, before I start hopping into a lot of Best Ball entries or Best Ball Mania entries for the season. And you guys know I love my puppy drafts, so want to hop into a few of those. So let's go for a 30-second lobby for the first draft, and then maybe we'll go for a 20-second lobby on the second one to make it a little bit quicker. But I like 30 seconds. I feel like it's like the perfect pace. But like I said, if it's not like filling or anything, then we can try 20-second lobby. But I'm going to enter a 30-second lobby for the puppy on Underdog Fantasy at 11:26 p.m. Eastern Time. So that is right now. So let's go. We're in. We got 11 spots, so that's perfect. See, like I'd rather kind of just like sit here and let us fill the lobby, and then I feel like it's gonna get filled. I don't know. Like I said, I've heard that the 20-second ones are a little bit more popular lately, but we're at 9 spots, and like I feel like it would be. I don't know. Is there like two? Is it all for the same tournament, or is it separate tournaments for 30 and 20-second entries? Right. So if it's not separate, then I guess it does make sense to do the 20-second ones, but we'll find out here because right now we're at 8 people. 30-second lobby on the puppy. It'll get filled. Let me check real quick here. J-Dub says he's in. What's up? What's up, Taylor? Cats? What's going on, everybody? Yeah, we're down to 7 people. It'll get filled. It might just take a minute. Good to see everybody. Hope you guys are doing great tonight. Hope everyone's having a good. I guess it's Memorial Day weekend, right? Or is that next weekend? Taylor, there's still spots. So you should be able to get in. Unless it, I mean, yeah, maybe it puts you in a different one. Which would be weird. Oh, next weekend. Oh, wait, we got like. Yeah, it's not Memorial Day weekend. It's the following weekend. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but 30 seconds probably less sweaty. It's probably less sweaty. Got that extra 10 seconds in there. It makes a difference. Taylor, you let us know. We got 7 spots. Dang, we might. I mean, having like 4 or 5 of you guys in here gets a little juicy. All right, we're down to 7 spots, 6 spots. It'll get filled. I have confidence. J-Dub says most are doing 20 seconds for volume. That makes sense. Yeah, in terms of news, Brock Purdy. I mean, how could I forget? How could I forget my boy Brock Purdy? But you guys know I've been a long time Brock Purdy truther, believer. He got his bag, 5-year, $265 million contract. And I did talk about this last stream. Like, my belief all along has always been that the Niners are going to pay Brock Purdy. And that's what happened. So, I mean, what is there to break down here? It's good for George Kittle, Ayuk, Ricky Pearsall, McCaffrey, whoever you are eyeing in terms of, the San Francisco 49ers fantasy wise. And, I don't really I still to this day, I'll never understand the Brock Purdy hate. Said I've always been a Purdy guy from day one. And he was still the QB 14 last year in fantasy football. He just had when it was bad, it was just bad. We had the snow game in Buffalo, and it was like, oh my God. But wasn't he hurt in that game too? Or no? Well, yeah, because he missed week 12. So that was probably the most disastrous game of the whole season last year. There's probably something worse out there, but that was pretty bad. But the following week, he had 22 fantasy points in week 15, 4.9 fantasy points. And he was really good week 16 and 17, 22 and 32 points, respectfully. But yeah, I mean, Brock Purdy was not that bad last year from a fantasy perspective or a real life perspective. But also, you just have to understand that, there's so many injuries across the board for the Niners last year. So, and the offensive line play last year for the Niners also was atrocious, especially in pass protection. So for me, I'm fine with the move. And this is just the same kind of argument last offseason when Tua got re-signed, as well as Jordan Love getting his contract, and some people having feelings about it. Quarterbacks are going to get paid. It just is what it is. So fantasy, I think this is good for everyone involved in the Niners. It's if Brock Purdy wasn't going to get signed with the Niners, where would he end up? I guess the Steelers. So what was your other real outcome here? All right, so I see you guys asking about schedules. Let me get that pulled up too. Still 7 spots. If we are going to change to a 20-second lobby, we're going to do it very strategically so that we're all still together. I knew that the 30-second lobbies would take longer to fill, but I am surprised we're still sitting here. So I'll let chat make the decision. If you guys want to move to a 20-second lobby, let me know. But like I said, let's do it strategically. We're already waiting anyways. That way that, we stay together here. Because what we got 4 of us together? Maybe somebody who hasn't even mentioned it yet. So, all right, let me get the schedule pulled up. And we'll take a look here. I haven't even looked at the actual. I mean, I've looked at it, but having everything in front of me. All right, I'll scroll down to week 17. We're still at 7 people. It's annoying. Man, these were I guess it's still pretty early in terms of drafting. Week 17, we got Cowboys and Commanders on Christmas Day. All right, down to 6 people. That's always fun. NFC East game matchup, right? Lions Vikings should be good. Afternoon game. Then Broncos Chiefs. I feel like the Broncos Chiefs is always either a high scoring game or the opposite. So didn't the Broncos and Chiefs 2 years ago played on Christmas Day? Texans Chargers. We'll see. Okay, so we're gonna have some games on December 27th and some games on December 28th. Nobody really cares. So Texans Chargers, Giants Raiders. I mean that could be intriguing. Raiders secondary is awful last year. Got Malik Neighbors. Raiders, you got Genty. Giants run defense was okay last year. Ravens, Packers. That's interesting. Cardinals, Bengals. That feels like a game that I would have circled personally. The Cardinals defense, not that it was awful last year, but the Cardinals defense did get better in the draft for sure. Did they even draft an offensive player? The Bengals defense obviously did not get better. Seahawks, Panthers. Two bad run defenses last year, especially the Panthers. Bucks, Dolphins could get juicy. And you guys know how I feel about that Buccaneers offense going into the year, right? So Patriots, Jets. That feels gross. That feels like a 15-9 game or something. Steelers, Browns is probably also gross. Jags, Colts. I feel like when the Jags and Colts play each other, there's always some offensive juice, especially by week 17. Saints, Titans. That's gross. Come on. Eagles, Bills should be good, right? Like that's about as good as it's gonna get, right? That's the only afternoon game on December 28th. What is up with this? We're down to 4 people, by the way. So let's hold it out. Gosh, I gotta pull up my calendar, scroll all the way to December. Not that bad. Okay, so the 27th is Saturday. The 28th is Sunday. So the Saturday games are not set in terms of time. But can't some of these? No, I'm thinking of week 18. Never mind. All right. So on Sunday, the only afternoon game is Eagles Bills. So it's like kind of like a primetime game, but not. Bears Niners is the Sunday night game. Okay. I guess they want to see Caleb Williams, and the Niners are still one of these teams, right? Then on December 29th, we have Rams Falcons. I'm pretty underwhelmed with week 17. I'm not gonna lie. And like I don't like the Christmas thing. I just don't, you know. Like we're trying to turn like what Thanksgiving is into what Christmas is when it comes to NFL. I am glad, it's falling on a Thursday this year, which is a little bit better, whereas last year it fell on a Wednesday. It also helps in terms of content creation and that schedule. But all right, down to 3 people in the lobby here. We're getting closer, boys and girls. If anyone's wondering, we're in a 30-second per pick puppy draft on Underdog, just 2 spots left. Yeah, but like I'm relatively underwhelmed with week 17. And of course, I don't know. Lions, Vikings. We got to expect something out of that. I think Cowboys, Commanders, first Christmas Day game. I'll expect something out of that. Broncos, Chiefs, like I said, I don't know. That's not really like a matchup that I don't know. It's week 17. There's going to be playoff implications at that point. It's probably okay. Texans, Chargers, probably okay. Ravens, Packers should be good. Like I said, I like the Cardinals, Bengals. That's one I would have circled. I like Seahawks, Panthers just in terms of like there's, the potential for points, right? Bucks, Dolphins, same thing. I don't like Patriots, Jets. I don't like Steelers, Browns, Jags, Colts. Like I said, maybe when those two teams play each other, you usually get something going. Saints, Titans is just like, come on, man. But I guess we might as well have, and the Titans, could be one of these teams with a rookie quarterback, all that good stuff. Don't get me wrong, but it might as well have these two teams play each other. The same thing with the Giants, Raiders, I guess. Although Raiders could, be much, much improved this year. Eagles, Bills, fine. Bears, Niners, fine. Rams, Falcons. The main thing that like I would personally really try to look at here is like how many of these games are truly going to have actual playoff implications. Obviously, very difficult at this point in time to determine that in any way. But how many of these games do you believe are going to have playoff implications? And then you kind of look at this like, there are a lot of divisional matchups, which is what we want. Lobby is full, boys and girls. But there's also only so many here. All right, there we go. We are filled. We got Cats at the 1-2, Taymone at the 1-6, myself at the 1-7, J-Dubs at the 1-9. Thank you guys for waiting it out. And if anyone else is in the lobby, let me know. Don't think I recognize any other usernames. Except I feel like Smooth Operators. Is that one of you guys? Underdog 1016. I like it. All right, let me get caught up with the chat here. What's going on, everybody? Make sure to say what's up in the chat. Let me know how you guys are doing. If you guys have any fantasy football questions, redraft dynasty or best ball, let me know. Let's have some fun. Let's draft some fantasy football teams. All right, getting a poll set up. We'll keep breaking down the schedule. I mean, we're really just looking at week 17. See what you guys have to say about it. Oh my gosh. The most difficult thing I ever do on stream is set up the poll. Swear. So much multitasking. All right, we got it filled. We're good. Cats likes week 17. Bears Niners is fun, says J-Dubs. Got Bucks versus Miami. I think Broncos Chiefs will be very defensive. Yeah, I feel like there's no in between there. It's always like a very defensive game, or it is the opposite. And it's like, but if it's the opposite, it's like the Broncos blowing out the Chiefs, right? Rams Falcons. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's sneaky. Falcons, can be a little bit different this year without Kirko Chains presumably starting. I feel like both those defenses could be decent. The Rams defense specifically. You guys like that matchup? Okay, I'm not against it. By the way, I'm just getting over like a sinus thing I had the last 2 days. So if I'm a little like sound sinusy, I'm sorry. All right, so I'm drafting right next to Taymone. He goes Puka Nacua. Really good wide receiver options here. Neighbors, Amon-Ra, Nico, Brian Thomas, or Gibbs Genty. Do I want to start wide receiver or do I want to start running back? Let's go with Malik Neighbors playing the Raiders in week 17. Green Bay versus Baltimore could be fun. Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, Pittsburgh, Cleveland. I don't feel good about that. Tell me you're not into the Dylan Gabriel Roman Wilson correlation. Oh God. Is it gonna be Dylan Gabriel? Is it gonna be Joe Flacco? Is it gonna be Shadur Sanders? Is it gonna be the ghost of Deshaun Watson? I don't know. Yeah, I would imagine that Roman Wilson is free in any draft right now. But honestly, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going with that. If anything, I take a shot on Calvin Austin. I mean, Calvin Austin had some decent games last year. His ADP is 204.1. He had like a little, I mean, I just really remember like talking him up, and you guys know I would do those last minute waiver wire edition videos for Saturday mornings. He had that stretch The big game against the Giants in week 8, then did nothing in week 10, was on bye week in week 9, nothing in week 11, but then was okay for a few weeks. 16.8, 10.9, 1.4 bad game, 11.5, 10.5. Like, he was an option. Pickens is gone, but Metcalf's going to be your wide receiver 1 there. Who's throwing the football? I don't know. I feel like everyone is just already correlating the Steelers quarterback as Aaron Rodgers, which is fine. But if it's not Rodgers, then they're just like going full tank mode, right? I mean, what are the options? I think Tommy DeVito's did he sign somewhere? There's like literally nobody. I'll look it up in a second. All right. I think I'm going to start kind of like aggro wide receiver. For me, like with underdog drafts, in terms of ADP right now, it's either a hero RB or just aggro wide receiver, or like a balance, like RB wide receiver, kind of keep repeating it. But I feel like generally speaking, those are the two like strats I want to go with. I was really hoping that AJ Brown was going to fall right there, though. I don't even think whoever's picking at the 1-8 is like, I feel like he was on auto pick there. I talked about this on previous streams, but I'm a little higher on T. Higgins or Garrett Wilson than I am Ladd McConkey. Who are the Jets playing? I don't have time to check. Bengals are playing the Cardinals week 17. We like that. Jets are playing the Patriots. I like that less for Garrett Wilson, so that works. All right. I mean, Cats, it's hard to tell with you, though. Cats, I was thinking about you for some reason. Oh, I was watching That's Good Sports. He did a video like the past week or so on the George Pickens trade, and he was going into this like long discussion about Gabe Davis in the beginning of the video. That made me think of you. Who? Darnell Washington. That's a name. Las Vegas versus the New York Giants could be a juicy game for Genty. Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I mean, the Giants' run defense was not that bad last year, but like also, I still agree with you 100%. Really not touching any pieces from either team outside of Metcalf and Judkins. Yeah. I don't know. I like the value on Freiermuth in a bad situation. Yeah, and Njoku probably okay. I like late round Sampson as a dart. I think it'll be a 1-2 punch for Cleveland. I like Sampson too. I mean, what's his ADP on Underdog right now? 182.4, sure. Minnesota Detroit is fun, but super hard to correlate based on position to ADP. That makes sense. Yeah, there's a lot of options too between those two teams. Yeah, the Mark Andrews hate right now is wild, dude. Wild. Problem I have with Cleveland running backs is that they've been pass heavy and probably a ton of negative game script. Yeah. I'll be honest, I don't want like I don't want really anything to do with either team as well, but I think that's also like when there are teams like that, that's important to pay attention to this time of year, because you're gonna inevitably get good value. So when there's these teams that nobody wants pieces of, we talked about. I mean, you talk about this every year, right? You always want to try and identify like a really, really good example for last year in terms of late round like stacks, late round correlations would have been the Broncos, right? Bo Nix going super late, Cortland Sutton still going pretty dang late, but then guys like Marvin Mims, Troy Franklin didn't work out, right? Going late as well, and then obviously would have been a great stack. Then even like Bryce Young and Adam Thielen, for example. There's always going to be some sort of late round value on some of these teams that feel a little bit gross. What's up, Cinnabon? Hello, hello. Yeah, got the 9th pick, half PPR in my home league. So this is redraft. Should I go running back or wide receiver in the first round? Feels like I should go running back, Genty, Henry, CMC, because wide receivers Like Puka Neighbors, Nico, BTJ, Amon Ra are too similar. Well, what I say every single year is basically is this question, are you going to start your draft with a wide receiver or running back? And that's going to really determine what you do for the rest of your draft. You kind of have to, I would say, determine your initial draft strategy, which can always change based on, how the draft starts to work out, of course. Who do I want to draft here? Let's go Rashi Rice. So yeah, you're gonna go hero running back, double hero running back, aggro wide receiver. You're gonna try and keep a bounce between two positions, which would be wide receiver and running back. Personally, I think that the elite tier of running back is filling out pretty quickly this year. But I still think that there's enough decent value as the draft goes on that if you are going to go with a different strat, it's okay. And in terms of like Puka, Neighbors, Nico, BTJ, Amon Ra, sure, they might be similar, but I love all those guys. Like that, you're not making a bad pick with any of those guys. Genty, Henry, CMC, I'm okay with all those guys, but we've seen Henry and CMC get a little bit pushed further back, generally speaking, in terms of redraft mock drafts at this point in time. Also, hope you're not drafting anytime soon, because you got a long ways to go, right? But if it's half PPR, sorry, I overlooked that aspect. Half PPR, I'd probably just go Genty. Sure. Probably just go Genty. In terms of if you are going to go with a wide receiver, which first of all, I will say there is a lot of really good wide receiver value in drafts right now. There always is this time of year, though. But yeah, you're going to want to look for touchdown upside is what I always say in half PPR. So I would correlate that more to, really any of those guys. Who do we feel like has the most touchdown upside out of Puka, Neighbors, Nico, BTJ, and Amon Ra? I feel like there's not really a bad answer there. Off the top of my head, I kind of look at Nico and BTJ. But all those other guys are right there. All right, let's see here. Do I want to take my first running back? I kind of want to push, see how far I can go without taking a running back. Let's go DJ Moore. I'm okay with DJ Moore right here. What's going on, Andrea? Good to see you. Yeah, Garrett Wilson, T. Higgins, close there. Like I said, I was initially looking at week 17, and then now I've gotten away from that. The Bears, Niners, that's okay. Chiefs, Broncos, nah. But yeah, like I said, Patriots, Jets, week 17. I don't know. Where the Bengals play the Cardinals. Looks like a little bit more upside there. Like I said earlier, the Cardinals defense definitely improved in the draft. Cats, Chrissy, I'm forever associated with Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis, Anthony Richardson. There's definitely a few more. Trevor Lawrence. Drafted him in every draft last year. Cats likes Taymon start. Puka, Ladd, Devontae, Omari, and Hampton. Very nice. Got Cats with CD, Jacobs, and Derry. J-Dubs goes Amon Ra, Brock, Mike Evans, Tet, McMillan. I'll take a look at everyone's teams at the end. Anyone got any funny ideas for league names? Trying to think of one for a new Dynasty League. Throw them in the chat. You guys know I'm awful at things like this. Get ready for T-Law all off season again, going back to the well. I do like Trevor Lawrence going into the season. He's being drafted very late. Rough year last year. But right before he got hurt, he was starting to get going. 22.2 fantasy points, 18, 15, 24, 21 and a half. Not too bad. But yeah, I mean, I do think that the Jaguars offense can be much improved compared to last year. So I like his ADP. He's being drafted after Drake May and Tua Tagovailoa on sleeper, at least right before Stafford and Richardson. So again, redraft formats, if you're going 0 quarterback, I'm okay with T-Law at this very moment. Etienne Bigsby, Bashal Tootin is a backfield. B. Tom, Travis Hunter, Parker Washington, Dewami Brown as your wide receivers there. Brenton Strange at tight end. I mean, see what happens. But yeah, I'm ready for you to go back to the well. But honestly, it's, year after year, there's just so much value, late round value at the quarterback position. Truly is. All right, so I'm in deep here with this aggro wide receiver start. Neighbors, Higgins, Rice, Moore. So I'm probably going to start taking a look at a few running backs here. But whenever I'm at this point in underdog drafts, I always consider pushing it a little bit further. But I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to go running back with this next pick, just whoever's there. But part of me, like I said, kind of wants to go with another wide receiver here. Have you bought a Jane Daniels jersey yet? Not yet, but I do need to. I like Kenneth Walker a lot. I think that's a good pick, Taylor. So I don't want to go Chuba, Alvin Kamara, Trayvon Henderson. I'll go Chuba. I'm okay with Kamara there too. I think the Panthers could have some sneaky games this year. I like Pickens there. Like if I was gonna go wide receiver, probably would be Pickens just for the upside. Like as a wide receiver 5, well, I'll take the risk, so to speak. I do think that the Cowboys are gonna have a lot of games this year where they just absolutely air it out. It's gonna be different with Dak Prescott back. Don't forget 2 years ago, like Cowboys led the league in passing yards, right? I forgot Breece Hall. Forgot how to play football in 1 year. Yeah, I mean he is really moved back. Really moved back. 4-11 tonight. And also, I think it's just a little bit of the uncertainty of the Jets offense as a whole. New head coach and Aaron Glenn, defensive minded guy, Justin Fields at quarterback. What are the other options in terms of offense? Like obviously you got Garrett Wilson at wide receiver. But outside of that, we have a lot of question marks. I really like rookie tight end Mason Taylor, but the rest of that wide receiver room is not good. And I've had faith in Alan Lazard, but my thesis on Alan Lazard has always been based on Aaron Rodgers at quarterback having that long-term connection with Lazard, which was a thing last year. Don't forget it. And then Lazard got hurt and Adams joined the Jets and he got kicked to the curb again. But between weeks 1 and 6, Alan Lazard had 10 or more fantasy points in every game except for one, with a ceiling at 26.9 fantasy. I mean, 2 touchdowns in week 1. All right. I was hoping Kamara might fall. I think there's some really good value wide receiver here. Rome Odunze, Chris Godwin, Jerry Jeudy. I'm going to go running back. I'm going to go Monty here. Do you guys feel like this is the year where Monty falls off? There were a lot of people last year who, Monty went pretty late in drafts last year, and there are a lot of people who were low on Monty, and then he had a great fantasy season until he got hurt in week 16 or whatever it was. Got hurt in week 15. But not including week 15, the game he got hurt, Monty had double digits in every game except for one. And Monty had a touchdown in every game he played in last year, not including week 15 where he got hurt, except for 3. And like he was like almost all season long right alongside Jahmyr Gibbs in terms of production, fantasy wise, like in fantasy points scored before he got hurt. So got it done differently, but I just think that Monty continues to be a good value. Bears should have the number 1 rushing offense in 2022 under Fields. Maybe Brees will get back to a top 5 running back with him. This is fair. Yeah, like I think Fields is actually a good thing for Brees Hall. Personally, I actually like in terms of the Jets starters, like especially because the roster is so thin. I like those primary starters, especially because their ADPs are a bit pushed back. So Fields, Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall, I'm okay with all those guys. I am, and I do like Mason Taylor a lot as well. If you're gonna take like a shot on a rookie tight end late, I think Mason Taylor is going to be solid. Cat says Monty's going nowhere. Coaching staff absolutely loves him. Cinnabon, Monty's production will entirely depend on whether their new offensive coordinator can keep that committee productive. Who is their offensive coordinator? Didn't they like they kind of just promote from within? John Morton. Oh, he was with the Broncos and spent 2022 season with the Lions as their senior offensive assistant. But where was he last year? I don't know anything about John Morton. Yeah, so he was the Broncos passing game coordinator the last 2 years, helping Broncos Bo Nix count for the 2nd most passing touchdowns, 3rd most completions, and 8th most by a rookie quarterback in NFL history. Shout out Bo Nix. Hold on, I'll come back to this. I got to make a pick. Oh, you guys know who I'm picking right here. Get ready. It's going to happen. I'm going to say, unless Taylor takes him. I do like Tony Pollard right here. And actually, I think there are some good wide receivers available. But I'm taking my boy Swifty off the board. I feel like my fantasy teams are the same every single year. All right, back to John Morton. So he was the Raiders senior offensive assistant for 2019 and 2021, the Jets offensive coordinator 2017, the Saints wide receivers coach 2015 to 16, the Niners wide receivers passing game coach 2011 2014. Okay, so I feel like none of that's like, were any of these teams good in those time periods? So really, he was a Lions senior offensive assistant 2022. Then he went to the Broncos. Now he's back with the Lions. So, and then they replaced Aaron Glenn with Kelvin Shepard, who was the team's linebackers coach for the past 2 seasons. Okay, I mean, I'm sure it's fine. He stated he plans on keeping a lot of things the same. I think people are going to underestimate how fantasy relevant the Jets offense will be. It might suck in real life, but that doesn't matter fantasy wise, 100%. The question I think for the Jets right now is how good is that defense actually? Like, I feel like people still associate that defense with being good. And the defense was not that good last year. I just say it like 100 times. It just flat out was not good. I was hoping Jaden Reed would fall here. I feel like Jaden Reed in this range of drafts like my favorite player right now. I like Brian Robinson Jr. a lot as well. I was hoping he might fall. I want to go wide receiver here. I don't want to reach for anyone. You know what? For the sake of argument, I'm going to go Isaiah Pacheco because I want to know how you guys feel about Isaiah Pacheco going into the season because look at a couple things here. I mean, the Chiefs haven't really done anything at running back. I mean, Kareem Hunt's back with the team. I know Pacheco looked really bad last year when he returned from injury. I mean, he looked like he might never really succeed in the NFL again. But I think the injury had so much to do with that. And I think, you go back to the first 2 weeks of the season, like Pacheco looked true to form, right? I think he could have a really big role in that offense this year. I think the offense will be better as a whole this year because there's going to be less injured players. At least we're assuming there's going to be less injured players, right? But yeah, I mean, we're going to get Rashee Rice back. Hollywood Brown's going to be back, although he was technically back at the end of the season. I think people are really underestimating Xavier Worthy. Travis Kelce was not that bad last year. Like, can relax, and Noah Gray is still an option at the tight end position. So I don't know. Fantasy opinions change drastically every year for no good reason. That is fair. A Jiggity with the interesting strategy. What's he doing? Nico, Drake London, Worthy, Smith. I like that start. Hurts, Olave, Scatterbo, and Tracy is locking up that backfield. Personally, if I was, at this point in the draft, having just one running back, I would switch it up there, go with one Giants running back. Then I would go like Brian Robinson Jr., who was available there. But other than that, I really like to start his draft, first 6 picks for sure. I don't mind going one or the other for the Giants running backs, but I would have gone B-Rob, one of my favorite values. I think the 8th round holds a lot of value. I'm starting to get a lot higher on Jaden Higgins as well. I really think that the Texans drafted Jaden Higgins with intention. And you look at what happened last year, just throughout the season, the Texans were just missing that number 2 option on a regular basis. And I think that they, I know Christian Kirk is there and everything, but I think that they just want somebody to come in and solidify that wide receiver 2 spot for that offense and for CJ Stroud. Yeah, I think it's going to be Higgins for sure. As much as I like my guy Christian Kirk, you guys know that. All right, so I'm sitting at 4 running backs, 4 wide receivers. I need to start thinking about things here. What am I going to do? Andrew, have a great night. Thank you for hanging out. Elijah Mitchell, RB1 in Kansas City. I mean, I could see it, I guess. Well, I feel like wide receiver just got absolutely decimated, and running backs. So you know who I'm taking? Baker. Would I like to get some correlation to a wide receiver in some aspect? So maybe I could have tried to wait and get Caleb Williams, but I felt like after Bo Nix, I mean, you got Purdy, Mahomes, Nix, now Baker and Kyler. I feel like these quarterbacks are going to kind of dry out quickly here. But the only correlation I could have gotten is if I went Mahomes over Pacheco, and then now, I went Caleb Williams to DJ Moore. But solid build here, 4 wide receivers, 4 running backs, quarterback. Now we can just kind of build off of that for the last, I guess we have 11 selections, technically speaking, but 10 rounds to go. See what happens. Noel over Higgins for me. Yeah, and I feel like that debate is going to be kind of up in the air. I think it's fine either way. But I think they want somebody to come in and be that wide receiver 2 for sure. It's so weird to me. It's not weird. It's just they got, those 2 wide receivers off the same team as well, right? Sorry, J-Dubs. This is definitely the point in the draft where I'm not even paying attention to your guys' team. So yeah, you got Mike Evans. I just feel like Baker is like was floating around there for a little too long. I think Baker's gonna have like I mean, Baker had an MVP type season last year. Don't tell me otherwise. Look at his numbers. And I feel like it's gonna happen. Like they just have everything in place for that offense to absolutely be on fire again. I might go Caleb Williams if he's here, but it's kind of against my draft strategy of normal. Okay, he's gone anyways. I want to get some depth at wide receiver. I still like Marvin Mims a lot going into the year. This was a guy like when the season ended, when the offseason began that I was talking about and the few videos I did at the beginning of the year. But like, yeah, I am a fan of Marvin Mims going into the year. You look at, the end of the season last year, he was very involved in that offense. This was a team that a lot of people expected to draft a wide receiver, and they did not. You got Cortland Sutton, and I think Marvin Mims is locked in as a wide receiver too. I know that, we might get some volume to rookie running back RJ Harvey. They went out and added Evan Ingram in free agency at the tight end position. But in terms of just looking at pure wide receivers on this team, Marvin Mims is the wide receiver too. I don't think it's, Troy Franklin or A.T. Perry or Devon Vele or any of these other names that you see. Those guys can have moments, but I think that Marvin Mims is going to be the guy who's carved out that number 2 option. And like I said, I mean, really involved at the very end of the season. 30 points in week 17, although that was against the Bengals defense. So I don't know if that counts, but I like him right there. Other than that, we have one wide receiver, Kyle Williams, who just got drafted, gone in this round. Every other selection this round, tight end, running back, and quarterback. Pat Bryant. Okay. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, I guess they did take him in the 3rd round for a reason. But like, I still don't think he's going to beat out Marvin Mims. I could be wrong. Wow, 3 tight ends in a row there. Loveland, Warren, and Joku. The rookie fever on rookie tight ends. All right. Jadon Blue gone. Honest to God. I'm just going quarterback again. I'm going Dak. Mims had the most Mickey Mouse ass production last year. That's fair. It was sporadic. It was. But like who else in terms of receiving option last year on the Broncos that's not named Cortland Sutton like gave us like anything to believe in going into the year? And I'm sorry if I worded that whole spiel. They a lot of people expected the Broncos to draft a wide receiver early in the 1st round. So sorry, that's what I meant to say. And they went cornerback in the 1st round. But obviously, sorry, Pat Bryant, my bad. But yeah, it was a bit sporadic. And it really didn't start to week 11. And we can't even look at week 18. He had 2 touchdowns in week 18, but the Chiefs had their practice squad players in. So, I mean, it's fair. It's fair. But you guys know how I am. When I have a guy, I stick with my guy. So, but yeah, I like Dak a lot as a kind of late round quarterback. There's still a lot of really Jordan Love, CJ Stroud, T Law, McCarthy, Penix, Tua, Cam Ward, Bryce Young, Matthew Stafford, Geno Smith, A. Rich, Darnold, Dart, Tyler Shook. Those are the remaining quarterbacks, and you got A Rod and Russell Wilson. There's still a lot of quarterback depth if you're looking for late round quarterbacks at this point in the draft. But I think that the Cowboys passing offense is going to be just fine this year. And I think that Prescott's got some pretty good options to throw to between CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Jake Ferguson will be back healthy. Running back room is bad. But, we just saw Jadon Blue kind of get reached on by Tamon there. So that's really the only exciting option. I just have such a bad feeling that like the first 6 weeks of the season is going to be like nothing but Javonte Williams being completely mediocre. I was kind of hoping Ferguson was going to fall here, but I mean, don't ever go into a draft with me and leave Rachaad White available. I will take him 5-6 spots against ADP all day long. Look at his running back. This is the most John running back room ever. Chuba Hubbard, David Montgomery, DeAndre Swift, Isaiah Pacheco, and Rachaad White. If you guys could like pull the data on how many fantasy teams in the past 2 years I've drafted with DeAndre Swift, Isaiah Pacheco, and Rachaad White on them, it would be a lot. And probably honestly, maybe all 5 of these guys. If we're going back to at least last year, because Chuba was one of my most drafted players last year. I drafted a lot of Monty last year too. But these are the only running backs I'm going to draft. We're going to fill out the rest of this draft. I'm only going to draft 2 quarterbacks too. I'm good with Baker and Dak. Maybe if there's like a screaming value or whatever late. But yeah, we're going to get some wide receiver depth here. And obviously, we have a glaring hole at the tight end position. We're going to go hunting. John here to ruin your quarterback stacks. That's right. Once again, I'm not looking at you guys' teams at all. You got Lamb at the 1-2. But once again, I feel like Dak was kind of floating around a little bit later there. Or maybe it was right around ADP. All right. We're talking dirty tight ends here. I mean, Kyle Pitts is gone. So we're in the dirty tier. Isaiah Likely, Brenton Strange, Zach Ertz, Freiermuth, Hunter Henry, Mike Gesicki, Mason Taylor, Cade Otton, Dalton Schultz, Chicken Conquo. Who are your guys that you like in this range and even like later than that range? Who are you guys looking at? Who's your dark horse tight end in the gross range, 144 or later? So let's see. We're in round 17. I did not realize how late it is. I'm probably only going to be able to do 1 draft tonight. I'm sorry, guys. We got 6 more picks. So I'm probably going to go 3 more wide receivers, 2 tight ends. So it'd be a 2-5-8-2 build. Unless I go 7 wide receivers, 3 tight ends. I really still kind of wish that like all the drafts were 20 rounds, but I get why they're 18. I like Austin Eckler in this range. Oh, Jerome Ford. How many Jerome Ford shares did I have last year? What running back I dislike more than any running back ever is Zamir White. Where is Zamir White being drafted? How many times did I draft Zamir White last year? ADP 216. Don't tell me I'm going to have to draft Quentin Johnston. Why do I actually have some faith in Quentin Johnston next year? Oh. Bro, tight ends are gross. I kind of like Romeo Dobbs right here. Give me some Dobbs. Give me the doobie. Yeah, I'm eyeing Cade Otton. I feel like Cade Otton is a must draft player for this squad because I do have Biker. What's up, Fresh? Why is Jordan Love going there? Is that he should be drafted later or should be drafted earlier. Yeah, like once again, like we're at pick. Okay, I was just about to talk about him. We're at pick 155, but CJ Stroud's ADP is 132. Trevor Lawrence's is 133. Yeah, and we see both those guys go. Those are good values. Jordan Love's a good value in round 13. I'm okay with McCarthy there. But yeah, it's just like every offseason, the late round value at quarterback. I mean, it always shifts up the closer we get to August. You see quarterbacks move up in drafts, but those are pretty dang good values. No one likes stacking his wide receiver options. That's fair. That's fair. How late does Christian Watson go in drafts? 215. Is anyone out there in any way confident in Christian Watson, or are we just writing off that situation? I'm done with the situation personally, if anybody cares. But I'm not really like out on any other Packers wide receiver. I feel like even like Tua at pick 160 is like, I'm kind of regretting going Baker and Dak as much as I like the values there, but really good quarterback value in this draft. I'll go Brenton Strange. Brenton Strange or Pat Fryermuth? Who you guys picking? These wide receivers, I mean, Alec Pierce, Michael Wilson, Pat. I should have picked Pat Bryant in honor of tonight's draft. Wide receivers are like disgusting. There's some fun rookies in here like Alec Ailmanor. You got Andre Ujavis, Yoshi. Who's going to be my late round wide receiver? I like Ty Felton for the Vikings. Nick Westbrook-Akine, my boy. Ray McLeod. MVS. Yeah, it's pretty bad. You know, I might just draft a lot of DeMarcus Robinson this year because I did the same last year. I feel like this is kind of a weird draft. Like it's so heavy at quarterback and tight end right now. Cats, you should always draft Jordan Love. Always. Even underdog catch fam drafts were really running back hungry. Yeah, I felt like running backs dried up pretty quickly. But even with me going like more aggro wide receiver to start, I really like the running back room I ended up with. I feel like there can still be a lot of production there. I'm probably going to reach for my next player. Probably the plan. You guys can't guess who it is. I kind of want to see if he'll last, but I need Kate Otten on this team. Who's like the fifth string? Yeah, Jalen Tolbert. I need Jalen Tolbert on this team for Dak. I kind of like Noah Gray. If you go like Frankenstein tight end like I am. Honestly, I take some shots on Cole Kmet. I know, he's being replaced, but Could still get some involvement. I guess I could draft Loon Shoemaker. See, this is why I wish we had 20 rounds, just so I could draft like just those dart throw players, you know. I was kind of hoping D Hop would fall here. Man, wide receivers are gross at this point. Grody. Why do I want to draft Darius Slayton right now? Why do I want to draft Tutu Atwell? I kind of like, because D Hop's going to have like, 3 or 4 touchdowns next year for sure. Going to have those 3 or 4 games where he has good production, and then that might be it. But I like him in this range. I'll go Tyler Lockett. Give me Pop Lock and drop it. Be a good veteran presence for Cam Ward. We'll do it. Speaking of Cam Ward, there he goes. To Taymon. I do like Alec Aomanor a lot. Who are your guys' late round rookie wide receivers you're eyeing? Like I said, I like Ty Felton. I don't know if I say his name right. He's got a real opportunity to just be a true wide receiver 3. But we know the pecking order is going to go JJ, then Addison, and then obviously Hawkinson's going to get some volume at tight end as well. And I guess to a degree, Aaron Jones. How much receiving work did Aaron Jones have last year? I mean, 62 targets, 51 receptions, 408 receiving yards, 6.58 yards per touch, and 8 yards per catch for Aaron Jones in the receiving game. Is not that bad. Just 2 receiving touchdowns. Cats likes Torrey Horton. Gosh. Jermaine Burton. That's how far down I've scored or scrolled, excuse me. Yeah, I like Torrey Horton with Seattle as well. Justice Hill drafted. Taymon, I feel like you're sweat right here. There you go. Sam Darnold, Torrey Horton, Cam Ward, Alec Aomanor. Well, since he was mentioned earlier, I'm going with Calvin Austin of the Pittsburgh Steelers here. He is the wide receiver 2 on that team right now. For what it's worth. I'm going to try and draft Jalen Tolbert to win this draft. Dak needs his boy. He needs him. If I don't get him, I might just go with another tight end. But the options are not great. Like I said, I like Noah Gray as a late round option, though. Terrence Ferguson for the Rams is probably going to be the tight end one there, right? I mean, I guess he has some competition, but. Can I introduce to you in some Andrew Armstrong? He's not even on a team. Right? Look at Cat still drafted A-Rich out here, though. Gotta love it. Please give me Jalen Tolbert. The best thing about underdog drafts is just the anticipation of the 18th round, 17th round players that you want so badly for like correlation and stacking and all that stuff. Oh, I didn't know he signed in Miami. My bad. I just feel like any Miami wide receiver, like, I don't know, man. I feel like they don't involve any receivers outside of Hill and Waddle. Plus, Nick Westbrook Akini is all that team, bro. And we all know that Nick Westbrook Akini is the best player of all time. I think I will end up taking some shots on Demarcus Robinson in the 18th round this year. Just because. Just because. I feel like Darius Slayton's okay here. I do like Ty Felton. He just got drafted. I think that's a good pick. And I think that's the team that had JJ McCarthy. Nope. Don't quote anything I say. No, bro. Dude, you guys know this happens every freaking draft I do too. Why is this guy drafting Jalen Tolbert? Dude, I'm so bummed. Drafting Amari Cooper just because he used to play with Dak. There's probably like 4 other options I like more, but I'm just going to draft Amari Cooper. Dude, who? Tarek is cooked, retired, or in jail by October. Book it. I mean, I like Tyreek's value right now. And I think in terms of his, off the field stuff, it's probably not even going to be handled this year. Why are you drafting naked Dak? I mean, I basically drafted naked Baker and naked Dak. Best value on the board, baby. Let's go. I'm going to tell you guys, in terms of underdog drafts this year, I'm not like, I'm just not following suit anymore. Like I'm not going to be like super strong into like, these are the exact like strategies and all that. Cause like it just hasn't really gotten me anywhere except for, breaking even every year. Like I just want to like draft a little bit differently this year in terms of underdog. What's up, Albert? How are you, broski? Good to see you. Backdoor Cam, where's that going to pay off? You know it, dog. Am I? That's my response to the Tolbert pick. Bro, who is this guy out here? He took Pickens, Ferguson. So it's got to be what? Maybe he's just mad at me getting his revenge. It's Commanders Cowboys. Week 17. You got B-Rob. So I don't know if there's really any correlation there. Jas pick 87. My first underdog draft of the season. My first enemy season made. I think the draft is over. It's just doing that thing where it's like stuck. Hold on. All right. Let's take a look. Look at this quarterback room, cats. Mahomes, Bryce Young, A-Rich, Jacobs, Hall, Mixon, Giddens. A little shallow at RB here. I do kind of like DJ Giddens. Lamb, McLaurin, Matthew Golden, Ricky Pearsall, Kyle Williams, Jalen Noel, Xavier Leggett, Jalen Coker. So you got Bryce Young stacked up. I stole Dak from you. Mahomes and Kelsey. Hey, I mean, I'm okay with that. It's pretty good value on Mahomes. And Njoku and Noah Gray. Like I said, I like Noah Gray as a late round option. Was this your first draft of the year? Tay Moan drafting right next to me. Herbert, Stafford, Cam Ward, Martin Hampton, Kenneth Walker, Aaron Jones, Jadon Blue, Ramondre Stevenson. Pretty good values on the running backs. Puka, Ladd, Devontae, Chris Godwin, Jaden Higgins, Trey Harris, Elk, A.O. Manor. I like the rookie wide receiver value there. You got Herbert all stacked up. Staph infection with Puka. And you know that Cam Ward, Elk, A.O. Manor stacks going to pay off. Likely Gesicki and Conquo could definitely be okay in terms of a Frankenstein tight end room, for lack of a better term. Said you took more rookies than I normally do. I actually like where you got all the rookies. I think that's fine. I kind of like that team. J-Dub. We got Drake May, McCarthy, and Tua. Trayvon Henderson, Tony Pollard, Jordan Mason, J.K. Dobbins, Marshawn Lloyd, Woody Marks, Amon-Ra, Mike Evans, Tet McMillan, Jordan Addison, Luther Burden, Jack Bishk, my boy, Pat Bryant, Brock Bowers, Johnny Smith. Good tight end room. So Tua with Jonnu, Brock Bowers, say no more. I feel like Drake May has some pretty good kind of later round options to stack with. Sorry, I stole Baker from you. Ruined the plan. But yeah, all pretty solid looking teams here. What did I end up with? Baker and Dak, Britton Strange, and Kate Otten. That could be dangerous in a bad way. Chuba Monty, Swift, Pacheco, White. I'm okay with that running back room, being that we drafted 4 wide receivers at the gate, and Neighbors, Higgins, Rashee Rice, DJ Moore, Marvin Mims, Romeo Dobbs, Tyler Lockett, Calvin Austin, and the GOAT, Amari Cooper. Took mostly rookies for playoffs correlation, says J-Dubs. Fresh asks, is this best ball? It is. Yes, sir. All right. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Our first Underdog stream for 2025 in the books. We got it done. 30-second per pick lobby. Almost thought we were going to have to leave, but we didn't. Yeah, I thought I was going to do 2 drafts tonight, but yeah, just have time for one, unfortunately. Took us over an hour just to do the one draft. Okay, next time we'll do 20 seconds per pick for sure. But thank you guys for coming out tonight, for hanging out, talking some fantasy, and thank you to all you guys who drafted with me. J-Dubs, Taymone, Cats. First of many for the off season. And I think Saturday nights, I'm just going to plan on doing underdog drafts from here on out. So I plan on being on tomorrow night for a sleeper mock draft and try and get Pete on here as well. So just stay posted on Discord, and we'll get rolling again shortly. So great draft tonight. Like I said, thanks for hanging out, and everyone have a fantastic Sunday when it's late. So with that, I'll say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on the Catch and